Well, welcome to the journey. My name is Kevin Polky. I am the host of the journey, and today we are going to continue our reflection on a book that I am rereading right now called "Stillness is the Key" by Ryan Holiday. As I have been intentionally taking some of these ideas that Holiday is expressing regarding the benefits that we can get by uh, carving out time periods where there can be stillness, where I can slow not only myself down physically, but slow down my thinking. Um, as he stresses during different time periods or different either interviews that he does or different aspects of the book, um, each one of us has to find our own way in which we can create this stillness. For some of us, it may be equal to or familiar to praying or meditating. Others, it may be the stillness may come through an activity. Maybe washing the dishes or doing yard work. Maybe it would be through exercise. Maybe it'll be a combination of doing some type of activity and then being able to, after that activity, after exercising, after a hard workout, then being able to be in a space where the noise or the monkey mind is not as distracting or at the forefront. So I know for me, and I've shared this many times, is that I have a routine, specifically in the morning, in which I will, first get up. It'll be a combination of meditation, or not meditation, of stretching or doing a workout, and then as that unfolds, I'm able to get into a space where my thoughts are, I'm more present versus following different narratives of things that I have to do or things that have already happened in the past. So I want to share a little bit about an experience just recently that happened. I had some meetings with some individuals, and I was reflecting on those meetings and how some things were going and not going. And I had an upcoming meeting, and there were some differences of opinions about that. There was some tension regarding that aspect, and I know that nobody else ever goes through that, especially individuals that are running. Uh, in a leadership position, that of course never happens, and we for sure never see that happening in families or households. Obviously, I'm joking about that. So this particular morning, I wake up and I knew that I had a meeting later that day, and I was praying on that and reflecting on that, and I came across or opened up my one of my meditations that I use on a regular basis, and part of this particular meditation was reflecting on uh, Jesus's teaching in Matthew on the Sermon on the Mount. And it was about the backstory was it was about individuals who were listening about anxiety and things that they were worried about, and Jesus was teaching about this idea that there wasn't a need to worry about things that have happened or things that will happen, that God will provide as He provides for the lilies of the fields and the birds of the air. And He talks about that first. The priority needs to be seek the kingdom of God. So, anyways, that's kind of the gist of what the reflection was on, and then afterwards, as I was meditating, I started thinking about what does it mean? What does that mean to Kevin? What does that mean to me to seek first the kingdom? So I kept saying that, seeking first the kingdom, seeking first the kingdom, and then the next question that came: what is the kingdom? Now I know if you were raised like I was, and or at least how I was how I translated that I wasn't even supposed to question what was the kingdom. I was just supposed to know, just supposed to be given. Just and but as I've developed over time, I recognize that some of those more intimate time periods for me with God is when I am asking those questions of, so what is the kingdom? What is the kingdom? What is the kingdom? And what came to me was love, that the kingdom of God is love. And for me, that allowed me, if at another passage refers to that God is love, God equals love, and that then that would make at that time and today make sense. Then the kingdom of God is then love. So what does that mean? What is love? What is God's love? And and for me, just to simplistically look at it, is that to love is to be life giving to others, to look at it from a life giving perspective, looking at it from a perspective of abundance, looking at a perspective of infinite. And as I was reflecting on the idea of that, for me to be life giving toward the individuals that I was going to be meeting with that day, for me to be looking at it from their perspective versus just seeing it from my perspective, that all of a sudden I noticed as a shift within my feeling, within my thinking. There was a peace that came over, and I had a much more open perspective. And for me, I believe that is how I am using some of the concepts that Holiday refers to about stillness being the key. Because for me, if I wouldn't have gone through the exercises of putting myself in a position, intentionally putting myself in a position of first reading and then reflecting on that daily devotion, which then put me in a space to meditate on certain key phrases or words, I don't think I would have had the direction of what could then help me as my day continued. And there was other things that got reinforced. I went and did a YouTube search regarding a different project, and a particular video popped up that was perfect for what I was the concept that I was trying to that I was feeling, and that I then wanted to uh, express in one of my other staff meetings. And so there was this validation or affirmation that I was definitely on that right track. And so this idea, the idea of being able to intentionally put myself in a position to, um, even if it isn't slowing my body down, it's slowing my thinking down so that I can be still with my thinking, so that I can then be open to what is all around me. As always, I appreciate any kind of feedback. I appreciate anyone who, either on the Apple Podcast or on Google Play, we are in the process of looking at of being also to be able to get the journey on Spotify. If you do like any of the things or anything resonated with you, please share a review. Share this with someone that you may think may benefit. And as always, I appreciate you listening and being here, and look forward to being with you again next week.